How you doing? Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. It's Tuesday, March 28th, 8:43 p.m. Thank you so much. We are live. We are about 12 people live right now. Thank you so much for being live with us and sharing the pod with your friends. Drop us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Very happy to say that we and another gatekeepers of the faith um, said that Philly, as in Orlando fashion, Orlando could have lost against Charlotte and then, you know, win against Philly. People, started doing their usual temper tantrums online. We kind of blocked all of it. And then we said, we do got the depth. They got like nine players that are gone international duty. We're missing Facundo. We're missing another, Pedro. And Orlando got a massive W. Ended the streak of 24 home games at Subaru Park for Philadelphia Union against a tough opponent. And Orlando, it's back, right? Now, I think as every other fan, we expect consistency of the team, right? And yeah, definitely. But they showed a lot of willingness to make this work, and a lot of people are saying, "No, but we attacked, and we have to attack more." Well, just saying it is really easy. You gotta develop more on that. Can't just say, "Oh, we just have to attack." That is very simple to say when you've probably never played the sport in your life. The players, I think, mentally they were exhausted, but they were able to recoup. And now they are going to face Nashville with no fear, right? Hopefully, we get Pedro Galese back for Nashville. We'll touch on that later on as well. What happened with Pedro? We'll also talk about some OCB, some pride, and as well we'll talk about the game against Nashville. But overall, fantastic win for Orlando City. Very proud of the team. Very proud of um, of the people that ended up actually going to Philly to support Orlando as well. So definitely it was a fantastic win, and hopefully the cherry on the cake is this game against Nashville. If we beat Nashville, that will make us a threat in the East, in my opinion, and because Nashville is a tough team to beat. They have a lot of pieces that a lot of dynamic players that can change the pace of the game anytime. So, how are you, Paola? Welcome. Oh, uh,
I
you're
couldn't
on.
find the unmute button. Like the mouse
Oh,
disappeared. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me all right?
there you go. Yeah, yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay. I'm happy. We got those 3 points, and people were saying, "Oh, yeah, Philly didn't have 5 people, 5 team members, 5 key players." I don't care. We got the 3 points. We got the 3 points. So I'm happy. I'm a happy camper and happy to be here. It's weird. It's Tuesday. It's not a Monday, but I'm happy to be here with y'all.
What's up, John? How you doing? Thing we called it about Philly.
Yeah, I mean, it was, to be honest, like, I'm not always super positive. You guys are more positive than me, so I can't take the super positive credit. But I was happily surprised with that Philly. I mean, great result. I thought in the week that, maybe there's a chance due to some of those starters being out. And I really think it shows our squad depth that we, both like sides had rotated squads out, but our rotated squad I think is better than their rotated side, and that's what showed in this game ultimately, which is a real credit to the depth of the team that we've got and the fact that they were able to pull out such a huge result after you said, Luis, being so tired from having to do Champions League and Tigres and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we've learned, and I'll put some pictures. I want to go ahead and thank before anything else. I want to thank Sophia Testa Photography. She's our partner there in Philly. She took some amazing shots of the game. Thank you so much. She's definitely was her first time shooting too. Thank you to Philadelphia Union for having her be able to take some pictures. Thank you so much for that. It really made it really cool to just have a photographer in Philly, right? It was a great atmosphere, and mentally, that place could definitely be tough for players to play. And I think Orlando, like you said, had the depth. But what I will say is tactically, Orlando played with their best version of Mauricio Pereira, which is at the 10. And I think that was a factor, in my opinion, in the attack. Playing with and a great game from Ivan Angulo. I think he was pretty much unstoppable on that flank. And I will say for everyone else that gave zero chance of winning this game, I think the win is even for the players means so much because they've read all the stuff that's been said. I'm sure. I know Pareja has read every single thing people have written and said and spewed, and now they're saying, "Oh, well, I'm happy," after spewing all this stuff, right? But they got the win. They got the win, and I think the first version of Orlando City is with a classical 10 like Mauricio distributing the ball in the mid. And then Martin Ojeda, just like, and John called it. He's been calling it for the past two shows. It's either Facundo or Ojeda, right? And I think Ojeda had the best game so far in the MLS because he was completely free. He was completely free to do in the attack what he saw fit and to find the association with the wings. I don't know. What are your thoughts regarding that, John?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that what this shows is Ojeda feels most comfortable out on that right wing, cutting in on his left foot, and like that's how he scored the one goal for the first one, and essentially that's what he was doing, the similar move to set up Angulo for the second goal. So he looks really comfortable there playing that. The problem we have is that that's also where Facu wants to play, and that's what you're talking about that we discussed before in the past. So you have two guys who want to play the same position, who do the same movement. So I think what is going to happen is going to be on Facu to move, probably either the 10 or over to that left-hand wing instead of the right-hand wing, because Ojeda is now like starting to get going. So I say keep playing him in that right-hand wing position and let him do what he needs to do from there because he's the one in form, which in some ways at the beginning of the season, if you just said who's going to be the one conforming to like the way that we play and the one that we want to play around, I think that's almost kind of switched now where like Ojeda is the one that the game needs to flow around and through in a lot of ways. And maybe Facu needs to learn how to work in that system as opposed to being the guy that, everything revolves around him. I don't know. I think, again, that dynamic is going to be interesting once Facu comes back this weekend. And, what's going to happen with Ojeda? Does he keep firing or does it, affect him that Facu's back in the starting lineup? I hope not.
I mean, he was the man of the match for sure. He had 80% passing accuracy on that game. He had about 8 shots, right? 2 tackles, and in my opinion, he should have had a hat trick. But obviously, 2 chances, he didn't capitalize. Paola, what were your thoughts of the game? I know that you saw the game. What are your thoughts on the game, and what do you take coming up Nashville?
When I saw that goal in the second minute, I'm like, it's gonna be outside. We're gonna get pro'd, and then that's not outside. Come on. And then we actually celebrated. I was like, yes, we got a goal in the second minute. And then I'm like, I hate early goals, but okay, we got a goal. And then Angulo scored in the 9th minute. And John has been calling this in the past episode. If you are listening to us, he has been saying that Pereira needs to be up front, and I agree with him. Like, look at the flow that we played on Saturday. He looks more comfortable at the 10. It's not that he's bad at number 8 or number 6, whatever. I like him more at the number 10. And the big problem is where Facu is gonna play when he comes next. Next Saturday, I don't know if he's gonna be on the bench or starting. I don't think he's gonna start. I don't know. Papi is throwing us curveballs this year, so I don't know.
I believe he's gonna start. He's the
He's gonna
13
start?
million. He's
Okay.
a $13 million man. I mean, if
Okay.
I would think so, but I do. We need to see more of Facundo Torres. I think
Okay.
everyone it agrees that we need to see more of him, as we did last year. And another thing that I believe that worked for Orlando City was scoring early.
Early.
So when Orlando scored the 2 goals early, not only it psychologically diminished their opponent because they were like, "What the really? They
This
just
is not
scored
normal."
2." No. They're like, really. They just you could see it in the faces of Glassness, on the faces of everyone in the back line for Philly. It's like, yo, they just scored 2 goals on us, like, and so that psychological plays with them, and because Pareja is a defensive-minded coach, and again, he's a defensive-minded coach. It made it easier for Orlando to control the pace of the game, and obviously they could have gone up 2 more goals. They just lack of finishing, right? So before we go with John of this red hot start for the Lions, we're gonna go ahead and read some comments. It says Joshua Tall, yep, agreed. It did help OC scoring early. Crazy Mush, the W was great, but won't be convinced until we face complete teams with consistency. Okay, no, that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying that we're ready to win the MLS Cup, but it is a massive W, right? And now everybody's backpedaling out of this. Everybody's saying, "Oh, I believed," after ripping everyone a new,
It sort of erased the bad done for the Charlotte game. Like, we had a really bad loss at home to Charlotte, and then a really, really good win away at Philly. Like, so that kind of balances out nicely.
Yeah, and we have to think with Orlando. I mean, again, Orlando, it's not a huge team. I mean, is Orlando a big city? I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not trying to downplay the city. I'm just saying, is Orlando a big city? No, right? So I think Orlando's history is, the underdog always, right? So we got to make sure that we know where we stand too. And I think for what we have, we got to take it game by game. And next is Nashville. And then if the boys get a tie, I'll take it because it's freaking Nashville. I mean, it's a western side team. And if Nashville maybe would have been in the East, we probably would have been lower on the ball to going towards the playoffs that past season. So I'm just trying to be also, not to jump into conclusions easy just to cause some static noise, right? Daniel Phillips, Tincho has a nose for goal. Let him cook. That's right. I think so. Swimming with the Rays, such a wonderful game. Fantastic ball movement, and we look like a squad who understands each other. There you go. I agree. Joshua Tall, I think we have to score 2 or 3 goals to have a good chance at winning versus Nashville. The last 2 Trashville matches they lost by Papi Specials could be our night. The question is our home form. That's right. No, it is true. I mean, they made a valid point. Our home.
No, I mean, it's just really sad because usually you're like, oh, our away form sucks. But like, in what world does your home form suck? In the world, you're a Orlando City fan right now. So
Right.
I agree. It's stupid that our home form is what's letting us down. Like, if we can just figure that out, we go away and win at Philly. We can definitely beat Nashville at home. Like, that's what makes no sense to me. And I agree.
And
it's what Crazy Rush was saying about the consistency. Is like it's all well and good beating Philly,
some point.
but if you can't beat Nashville at home, then what's the point, right? Like, where's the consistency? So
exactly. Do you agree with that, Paola? I believe so too.
Absolutely, and I just said it in my
people are right.
Spanish podcast. I just said it. Like, okay, I just wish on Saturday we need that home win, a home win. Fantastic. And away 3 points, fine. But we need that home win.
Yeah, fans deserve it. Fans deserve it. The team deserves it. That's what fans want. Fans want for the team to win, and I think Orlando has the squad to do it. They have the depth. Try to be mentally prepared as you were against Philly, and understand also. And I said to the fan base not to just after 4 games call out for people's releases, put in stuff online that is really nonsensical, because that could also play out for the players. The players will read it, their family members will read it, and then that plays out also a point, right? That you gotta go and support the team. Go and yell go and drink a 6 pack of PBR, chug it on your truck, make sure you clean after yourself, and then go and sing Dale mi amor, yo quiero na na na. Yeah, right. That's the role of the fan, right? Go and support. If we're gonna go and if they tie against Nashville, and you're gonna be typing on the internet, oh, oh my God, 0 shots and it's that doesn't help. I think it doesn't help, and I will take the tie and go game by game because that's Orlando for you. Um, do we want greatness and at some point have a team like Real Madrid? Why the freak not? I will love it. Are we ready right now? No, I don't think so. U.S. men's national team. This is U.S. men's national team. 18,000 people on a Monday. Orlando City on a weekend. 17,000. We're not ready. So, and those are numbers. Now, it says Chago del Ocho, Alonso. What do you know? You gotta look like Alonso. Alonso, what do you can tell us about Galese? He could have some wings in the summer. So he's suggesting if Galese is going to leave in the summer, he's not going to leave in the summer. I can tell you right now, he's not going to leave in the summer. There's no way. He's just signed a new contract. Daniel Phillips. I thought it was a great win. We were without our 2 DPs, our ace goalkeeper, and our starting right back. They were without starters as well, but a win's a win. No asterisks by this one, now for sure. So Joshua Tall, I thought Mason played a really good game, especially with Galeza being out, and I was glad Carlos played. That goes to my next point. Mason Staduhar, fantastic performance. Very proud. We have definitely a really good backup for Pedro Galese. And I'm going to say this. I believe that I think Mason in any other team, like you could put him in Chicago and he could probably be a starter there too. You know, he's a good player. He's shown so much improvement. I don't know what were your thoughts regarding Mason? He saved a couple, right, John?
I mean, I think he it's not easy to come in and be that guy. You know, like they would have earmarked on the calendar for him that he potentially would have had this game, knowing that there would be an international break and that Pedro's going to get called up most likely. So he would have been preparing for this game like since the beginning of the season, and he came in and showed, you know, that when Pedro is out, he can do a really, really good job. And he's someone that's been around the club for such a long time. And it's always hard to know with backup goalkeepers. Like, are they going to be a guy who's just there at the club for 3 or 4 years and is backup and maybe gets some games, you know, but never really gets a chance to break onto the scene and become that starting goalkeeper? And I think that Mason is starting to show that, you know, if, God forbid, Pedro ever, you know, goes anywhere or anything happens, that he has a real shout to come in and be our starting goalkeeper. Like, he's showing real quality in this league that we haven't seen from him before. And yet, like that game against Philly, he made 2 or 3 key saves to keep us, you know, and bring us the 3 points the same way that Pedro would. So if you're talking about what you expect from your backup goalkeeper, 100%. Yeah, like he's doing more than I would expect from a backup goalkeeper. So I thought he had a great game, and I feel really confident that when Pedro can't play for a week or gets an injury for a month or whatever, which can happen, we got Mason to step in, and he's going to be able to do a really good job for him. So that's really positive, and I think congratulations to him. Anybody who doesn't know, like in his history, Mason, went through childhood cancer, so
Yeah.
for him to go through that and still play, and now even
He's a winner, man.
becoming better and better, and really, goalkeepers like they mature over time. So he's showing that he could maybe become like a top goalkeeper in this league one day, which I think would be an incredible story for him. And if you don't know, he's such a really great guy as well. And
Yeah, cool
everyone
guy.
at the club loves him. So whenever you get someone who's been around at the club that long, getting a chance of doing well, it's always something that puts a smile on everybody's face, and we all love to see it.
Now, defensively, we were very consistent in this game as well, and we saw a familiar face making his comeback. Paola, what do you think about the comeback of Antonio Carlos? I thought it was a breath of fresh air. When I saw him, my heart pounded a little faster. I was like, "Oh man, we're getting AC back!
I was like,
Yay! Oh my God!" Yeah, what are your thoughts about that, Paola?
no. I was relieved. I was like, yes, I'm seeing him back on the pitch. These are good signs. I'm happy for him because we haven't seen him since last season. So, hopefully we can see him against Nashville, and we're gonna talk about it probably in a few seconds. But he played really well, even though it was like for how much 17 minutes, more likely. But he played like Antonio Carlos, so I was relieved. That was my reaction. I'm like, yes, he's back. Thank God. So um probably he's gonna start soon. Those are good signs.
To piggyback of what John was saying about Mason, I do want to say something. And Pedro also said it in the Peruvian national team press. And I want to definitely tell everyone that is asking for Papi out. You know who you are. You know what you've said. A lot of people have been doing that. If we would have Papi out, Cesar Baena would not be part of the coaching staff. You know who Cesar Baena is? He's the reason why we have 3 great goalkeepers in the squad. He's the person who revitalized Pedro Galez's career. Pedro Galese thanked him personally in a Peruvian national team press. If you want to just scream Papi out for no reason without even looking, you will lose Cesar Baena. You will lose the staff that has Oscar right there. A staff that bred people that played yesterday for the national team. Pulisic came off the FC Dallas camp. Weston McKennie came out of FC Dallas camp. Kelly Acosta came out of FC Dallas camp. Ricardo Pepi came out of FC Dallas camp. So you're talking about, somebody that has revitalized 3 goalkeepers: Adam Greenwis, Mason Stadahar, and Pedro Galese. Pedro Galese, after coming psychologically destroyed by a bad experience in Mexico, being pretty much told that he was not good enough, and he's making all those saves. And he definitely had praises for Pareja's staff. He didn't have to say his name, but he said it, and he made all Peruvian news. So, we have to definitely also look into that. And talk about Antonio Carlos, man, that's fantastic. And I want to mention another Brazilian, Felipe Martins. I think it was his night. I think his experience in the MLS with Dagger Dan right there in the mid. I mean, they look silky. I don't know what your thoughts regarding that, John.
Those passes, man.
Clinical, man. Right?
I mean, yeah. The thing, see, you talking about how Pereira went further up into like that 10 position. I don't think I think what it is a 4-3-3. And I think Pereira moves forward into that 10 position.
Right.
But actually, if you look at a lot of the time, he is sitting deeper. He's just playing the passes of what a 10 would play, right? But slightly deeper in the midfield. Like if you look at the pass he plays for Ojeda to get on the end of it for that goal, he's pretty deep when he plays that. So I think what Papi is doing is like a 4-3-3, like I said, but Pereira goes forward, and the perfect guy to play next to him is Felipe, because Felipe is like that box-to-box midfielder who's just a workhorse, who's just going to chase everything down, lay off easy balls, like tackle guys, just generally cause problems, be the kind of guy that you want in your team who's just going to work hard and be essentially like a ball shuttler. He's going to get up and down. He's going to move the ball. So when you also have Arua behind him, what you see is a very solid midfield from that point. You allow Pereira to do even more offensively because you can just go forward and attack as he wants to because he knows he's got the solidity of Felipe and Araujo behind him. And I think that really was an advantage that we used against Philly, and I think we should continue doing that. I also think that Dagger Dan could play that same role that Felipe did play. I think that's well within his, skill set as a guy who could do anything on the field. But I think Felipe showed his experience in MLS in this one, right? Like he did what he did last season for Austin a lot of the time was that exact same role I was talking about. Going out there and doing the hard work to win back the ball or to make the easy passes. Basically just carry a lot of that weight in the midfield, which allows other guys to be more attacking and not have to do as much defensively.
And then he looked so poised, Paola. I mean, he looked like he was just another day in paradise. I'm just here in the MLS. I'm making passes. I'm making associative plays with my wings. Like I'm passing the ball. I'm making a difference. It seemed like very easy for him. Like he was used to it. Paola.
Exactly. That was I was gonna head that way. Like you didn't even notice that he was in the bench since the beginning of the season. And when I saw him in the starting lineup, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. Let's see what Felipe Martins is capable of, because everybody was talking about the butcher, and blah blah blah. And I seen in Twitter both sides of the coin. Oh, he's a good player. Oh no, he's not a good player. And I was like, okay, let me give him a chance because I haven't seen him play. Probably I seen him play, but I don't remember. And those passes, I was like this. Have you seen the gif of Patrick, the star of SpongeBob, like this? I was that the entire game. I don't mind him starting another game. Yeah. I don't know if he has consistency. That's the other question now. Does he has consistency for other games? Because he has some age, to be honest. So I don't know, but I like thus far what I'm seeing about Felipe Martins.
You know what I don't mind him. I think he's Junior Urso. Is what
exactly.
He is. Like he's exactly, and I think that in a lot of ways we missed that. And when you put him in and they know instantly, like Pereira knows how to play with that guy next to him because he had Junior Urso next to him the whole time. And I think that you're 100% right that he is a guy that was overlooked a little bit when we signed him because we've been playing the other midfielders and they've been trying to figure it out. And I was always wondering, like, when are they going to put Felipe in? Like, he's a proven MLS talent and obviously showed, like you said, why he's a proven MLS talent. I got no problem with him staying in there, and I think it made us more solid. So I'd like to see him stay.
It organized the mid, in my opinion, and I want to say this. How do I say this? His fire in this game against a very tough opponent, because you can tell he had a fire in him. Like he wanted to do good in this game because he knew maybe the position of the number 8 position is in contention and I want a piece of it. So you could see that drive in his eyes every play that he made.
He's proving something, probably.
And I believe that is great for Cartagena. That is great for Dagger Dan. That is great for everyone that plays that position, the defensive midfield position, because, I mean, it's going to up everyone's level. It's going to up everyone's level, and we need that. We need that for what's coming next. Nashville, we got DC. You know, we have a tough schedule ahead, and I think if everyone is going to be playing with the knife between their teeth, right? I think that is fantastic. Now, Felipe Martins said this at the post press conference. I think we came to a difficult place with a great game plan. We knew exactly how we wanted to play, the way we wanted to defend, and I think our individual efforts truly make a difference. The group is always, but the group is always the strength. I think tonight we show them that we're a team that can play. And then Oscar Pareja added, I think in the first half we controlled the game, not just in transition. I think in the middle of the field as well. I think we were much better there. In the second half, knowing that we were leading the game and Philadelphia pushed ahead their structure and started just getting more plays forward, we understood that those spaces were going to be created. It was not easy to sustain it with that pressure, but we found ways. We could have scored 2 or 3 more goals in the second half. So the match was very well played by the players. That's what Oscar said. And then somebody went like, I'm just kidding. No, not again.
That
bro.
same guy
They
traveled
didn't
all the
say
way
we
to
love
Philly.
you?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
traveled all the way to Philly. He's like, yeah,
We
man.
love you.
He found the press conference at the Philly Stadium.
Yeah.
Also, was like, oh,
Yeah,
this
he's
is the
like-
window. I found.
He's
the
like,
window,
he's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, bro. I apologize, man.
Let me
buy you a
Philly cheesesteak.
Let me buy you a cholo dog. Let me buy you a
I
cholo
wanted to
dog,
say
man.
That someone in the comments, I kept to find the comment for me, Luis, but someone was talking about Enrique, and I thought he was another guy we should mention how well he did this game.
Oh yeah,
I think that he really like starting to link up that attack, and like you were talking about being, defending from the front foot, like he was pressing from that attacking, playing like a false 9 position, and I think that's something that starting to really click. Like how Maguire is helping with that attack up front. I think Enrique is doing a similar job.
yeah.
There you go. Enrique was effective with false 9. Correct. I agree with Daniel, and I think that it'll be interesting to see who gets the start on against Nashville.
Yeah, it says Jim D. Oh man, if Mason played weekly, he'll be a monster. I agree. Chavo del Ocho says America of Mexico wants Galese. All right. Okay.
Get
well,
back Ochoa. That's it.
we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I like mint chocolate ice cream. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna get a piece of mint chocolate ice cream right now, but you don't know. Maybe down the road, you never know. Josue Lopez Hernandez. How you doing, Josue? My friend. He's our LAFC Liga MX
Oh, hi, Josue.
insider. Fans complain about everything. Last year, there were fans begging for Steve Cherundolo to quit.
There you go. And look, they have an MLS Cup.
And Philly went through this too with Curran. Right? Gotta go, man. Leave, man. All right. Jeez. Is this wow, that's interesting. Saying that Felipe is like Junior Urso. Yeah. We're definitely missing Urso. Urso left because of family situation. He just wanted to be home, right? And so you can't deny the man that, he gave so much to Orlando. So either way, fantastic game against Philly. I think we definitely aced it out of the park. Hopefully against Nashville, it's a similar story in front of thousands of Orlando maniacs in the stands, the wall saying, chanting La Grande Victoria, beer
I'm not
flowing
going to the
everywhere.
wall.
Beer flowing everywhere. I heard that John has an amazing English accent, right? Is that true? You get some curse words I not even have ever heard of.
Oh, I see how it is. Thanks, Paula, outing me.
I know I didn't
see
say
how it-
anything. I didn't say anything. But I'm not allowed in the wall. I'm
It's
not
okay,
allowed in
it's
the wall
okay.
again.
No, not a lot of the wall.
You're a bad luck charm. Never again in the wall. for you.
Yep.
man.
No, I'm not going back. Mm-mm.
No, but it was good. It was a fantastic game. So we're gonna be transitioning into our second topic. We're gonna talk about OCB because OCB also played and they win 3-1. They played in Subaru Park as well. And again, I wish that we could have some of these players here at the pot and we were able to interview them. I think OCB deserves a lot of more exposure. It's just my opinion. I'm here to say anything else. And I believe that maybe, people need to go and support them too. I mean, these are the future. These are their next generation of players coming up to the first team. I want to give some kudos to Juninho, which was the captain of the team. He did a pretty good job, the Brazilian international. And, Jacqueline scored. Jacqueline, all this, and Abdi Salim, he had a phenomenal flip.
That goal
It
too.
kind of looked, yeah, it was a phenomenal goal too, but it tells you the versatility of the players that the first team has. Jacqueline scoring like it's nothing. Abdi Salim scoring and a tough, difficult play of a corner kick. I mean, it says a lot, right? And the flip that he did, it looked kind of like I don't know if it was like a back flip or
I
uh,
wouldn't. I
He did
would have
like
been
uh,
able to walk
like a
after that.
Muay Thai,
it was like
like
a
correct,
mid-air somersault backflip kind of
right,
thing. It was impressive. I was like, wow, the guy can. He's a very athletic center back.
right. So definitely, it was his first professional goal ever for Abdi Salim. So
Acuna had a very nice goal too in that game.
yeah.
I don't know if you see that. I advise people to go, follow OCB on Twitter, watch the highlights so you can see some of these young boys and some of the goals they're scoring, the talent they got going. Jack Lim didn't even start in this one, so he came off the bench. Shaq Mohammed, I think, also came off the bench, and Wilfred Rivera, who were all guys who are technically on the Orlando City squad, but can also play
Yeah.
for OCB in the MLS Next Pro game. So that's the advantage we have there. So they did really a great result for that first win. I mean, also great start to the season.
Yeah, Shaq Mohammed also had his professional debut. Also, Acuna had his professional debut as well. A lot of the players made their professional debut, and they definitely excelled. Orlando also had won every single category against Philadelphia Union too. More shots on target. They took advantage of the set pieces as well, like that corner kick with Abdus Salim. That was fantastic. More possession. Good victory for OCB, and I'm gonna get the chance to definitely go cover those games too at Kissimmee, and it's definitely gonna be great. I wish that there was like a Spanish broadcast of OCB too, right? I don't know if Apple TV is broadcasting these games too, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
they are. They are.
They are.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I wish that they could have like a Spanish announcer or something like that too. But that's another story. And Pride, Orlando Pride. Unfortunately, they stumbled upon the world. Well, I call it world champs. To me, the Portland Thorns are one of the most dynamic teams in women's soccer right now. A brand new team with a brand new coach. Well, I mean, a coach they had last season, but he was an interim coach. A lot of the younger players, except of Marta, maybe they did. They stumbled upon Portland Thorns. They lost 4-0, 4-0. But they're gonna have their season opener this Sunday against Angel City with former players of Orlando Pride too that will be playing there. Sydney Leroux, it's one of them. So it's going to be,
Riley.
yep, Riley as well. She's going to be, Ali Riley is going to be there. And I think Orlando Pride with a beautiful jersey, I must add, one of the most beautiful kits. They always impress with the kits. That Ad Astra kit was amazing. And this new kit is phenomenal. Like,
It just shows you what you could do if you weren't
Yeah.
constrained by the leagues of MLS,
Yeah.
Adidas, everybody, right? When you have the pride, like, you just do whatever you want, and you come up with some amazing stuff and some really cool concepts that I wish we could do for Orlando City. Also, it would be so.
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely it was a great I mean, I'm not gonna really they play against the Portland Thorns, guys. I mean, the Portland Thorns, if they go play Europe right now, they could compete against any team in Champions League. They can play against Barcelona and definitely cause some damage to them. I mean, they have world class players, so Angel City is definitely going to be a test for them. So hopefully that goes. They get a W. So, and then let's talk about the U.S. men's national team, right? So I don't know, Paula, do you see the game?
I was able to see the second half of it. I saw the goal from Ricardo Pepe.
Pepe.
Um, I was sad about Dike. I wanted to see a goal from him. I think what I could see on that second half, they were not utilizing him as passing the ball to him, and as soon as Pepe came in, they passed the ball to him. Obviously, got uh the goal, but I was just sad. I wanted to see a goal from DK, but we got the win. Um, and honestly, I wanted to see more goals from the U.S. Team, but we won. So
Yeah, they were close of scoring a couple more. You were there, right, John? What were your impressions of the game?
Yeah, I was there. It was really good to see such a big crowd for a Monday night. I was a
Yeah,
little disappointed we didn't sell it out. I feel like anytime the national team comes to town, you got to sell it out. But I kind of blame U.S. Soccer for putting it on a Monday. I think that's kind of ridiculous. Like,
that's right.
why would you do that to us? Like, it's great, bring a game. Why on a Monday? Like,
because
anyway,
it's Orlando.
that's besides the point. That's my little pet peeve. But I think we had a really good attendance despite it being a Monday. With DK, it was awesome to see him come on the field. Everyone was cheering like we had a big Daryl DK chant going around the stadium. Everyone was loving it. But on the field, it just doesn't seem like he clicks with the way that they're playing up front. I think Paula nailed it completely. Like, for some reason, as soon as Pepe came on, like the chances just flow. And it was the same way in the game before when they played against Granada. Was it Granada? Maybe that remembering it wrong.
Yeah, Granada.
You got it.
Game with Granada. So basically, the similar thing. Like Pepe was on scoring goals, DK comes on, the goals dried up, and everyone has these questions around like, why can't DK score when he's on the field with everybody else? And to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. Like he comes close. I think in some ways they expect a striker with those guys like Reyna and Pulisic and Zendejas are very much like sort of very technical wingers and very technical attacking midfielders who want to play with like almost like Enrique style false nine, like someone who comes deep and lays the ball off and plays. And Daryl's more of like a traditional like number 9 who just wants to get up the field and muscle guys and run with the ball and do what he does best. And I just think right now, for some reason, the way the U.S. is playing, it doesn't work with him as a striker, which it should do because he should be able to work with any team. Like his skill set is great. So I don't know why that is, but it was a bit of a shame to see him have to come off without getting a goal. Outside of that, I think the U.S. looked really strong. Like Taylor Booth had a killer game on the right. He was playing like right back, but essentially it was just up and down the right wing. When he came on, he really opened things up and caused some problems for El Salvador that had some chances in the first half. Like really, they're kind of like a one-trick pony. They just got that speed and they just try to put balls in behind and catch us on the break. But the U.S. played a good, solid game and really should have scored more goals. And it was a shame. I was hoping to see like 3 or 4 at Exploria, but we only got the one and none for Daryl. But a U.S. win, and they're doing well in the Nations League as expected, and on to the semifinal. As expected, and hopefully we can win that competition and move on to the next one.
Yeah, I will say a fantastic game for the back line for the U.S. I'll be honest with you, El Salvador, they started the game very well. I think they have some players that, my hat's off. You guys have to understand soccer level in El Salvador it's not really good. And they're not they have some dynamic players like maybe Roldan and Tamacas and Zabaleta and Gil, but unfortunately they play in different type of leagues compared to the Americans. I mean, if you look at Ream, Dest, Robinson, Yunus Munsa, Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, like this Weston McKennie. I mean, this guy plays in top level leagues, and they started very strong, but physically, it was the pressure that the U.S. had throughout the whole 90 minutes. It was European level, It was like World Cup level. So they physically got exhausted. They couldn't withstand it, and the U.S. pressured, and they created a lot of chances. I mean, the score could have been easily about 4-0, 5-0 if they wanted to be. They just didn't capitalize. The ref also let a lot of plays go through. Not a lot of red cards, not a lot of yellow cards, unnecessary stuff. When El Salvador they show some frustration, they started fouling a lot. And I'm gonna say regarding DK came out strong. The issue with DK is, yeah, I'm part of what I agree with John said. I do believe that it was Zabaleta. I saw Zabaleta. I think his only job, the coach told him, the big guy up front, yeah, that big guy, go get him. Like bother him the whole thing. And so that's what Zabaleta did. And he left a lot of spaces, like in that goal, in the goal for the US. You know, Pepe came in, made a difference because Zabaleta, he already was subbed out. So, I mean, you're talking about center back that has played MLS, right? And had a little bit the experience to kind of know how DK may play, and they knew DK was going to be a threat. They knew that he was coming home, and they just wanted to make it difficult for him. Now, I agree with John wholeheartedly on how this U.S. team is playing, right? Maybe, I mean, DK. I would have loved to see Timothy Weah instead of Sendejas. I'll be honest with you. I mean, he didn't do a bad job, but I think with Timothy Weah right there, DK would have definitely scored a couple.
I actually think Brendan Aronson should play the 10.
Too.
I think they look better with Gio Reyna on the wing and Brendan Aronson.
I agree.
In that 10. I think Gio Reyna, for me, he's too selfish to play as a 10. I don't see it right now. And I think that's part of the reason. I also just we won't go into that, but like if he's gonna be in the team, I don't think he's someone that we can rely on. True. You know what I mean? Like I think build the team around Pulisic. Don't build the team around Reyna. I think that's dangerous.
You're a Reyna out?
I'll say if it was me, if I ran U.S. Soccer, I don't want to get deep into it. If it was me and I ran U.S. Soccer, I would ban him from ever playing again in U.S. Soccer.
Just Reyna out.
Yeah, I just think it's.
Oh, let me write my tweet.
There's got to be repercussions, and
let me write my tweet.
No one player is bigger than U.S. Soccer, and that's what he's proving. Apparently, if you can play the ball with your feet and you're really good, and you're maybe as good as Christian Pulisic, so then that allows you to dictate terms to U.S. Soccer. I don't see it that way. I think there has to be repercussions for your actions.
Another strategy that to me worked for the U.S. was the left back and the right backs. Both Serginho Dest and Robinson were unstoppable. Robinson seems that he never gets tired.
No,
and he has improved so much in 1v1 situations. He was just unstoppable. Like it's like he's never stopped being in the World Cup. He was still in World Cup mode, in my opinion.
Now that Robinson is back, and you got Dest looking really good, and that back four, back five is exactly that's a really, like you said, a perfect back line for us, and that's the reason we look so solid at the moment.
I want to sell some smoke.
Yeah.
Just like
I'm sorry for my comments about Gio Reyna. I know everybody will hate me for that, but
that's okay.
It's just how I feel. It's my opinion.
It's your opinion. Let me write a tweet.
It makes me sad. This whole thing makes me sad, guys.
If I am the Wolves, Serginho Dest right now is unhappy at AC Milan. Christian Pulisic may be looking for a different team very soon. I will say, hey, right?
I mean, I can see Dest as a DP.
Dest will be great.
He's not coming to MLS, dude. He's got something.
No, I know.
He'll go to Spain and go kill it in Spain.
Yeah, I think he'll be great in Barcelona. That's just my opinion. I know that I'm a Barcelona fan, but I mean, I think he'll be great.
Dest?
Pulisic. No, Pulisic.
Oh, yeah.
I think Dest will be great with Orlando. Imagine Dest, AC, Robin Jansen, huh? Kyle Smith, the accountant.
I'm all for a DP
I'm
right
I'm
back.
all
Like,
for it.
let's do it. Like, why not? I think we don't need a DP striker. Just give
Right?
a
Yeah,
DP
not
right
a not a
back. DP
striker,
right
guys.
back. Sure.
Yeah, and people are asking about Kara. Kara's still, I think, suffering a little injury, a little knock. Hopefully, he'll be back by Nashville.
Was he on the injury list?
I didn't see him there. Yeah, we'll see. Hmm.
Three little dots.
I've
Let me
already,
write.
I've
Let me write
already
my
stirred the
tweet.
pot
Thinking.
so
Let me
much today. I'm not gonna. I'm
Let me
not
go
gonna
on.
stir anymore. But I'm just gonna go.
Let me go on Twitter. Let
What
me
the
go.
Twitter expert says. I'm
Let
just
me put my Twitter pants on and type away.
Yeah, I let the audience fill in the blanks of what they think is happening with me.
No, I think it's just I think Rodrigo is making Ramiro Enrique. He's definitely going to. I mean, I think it's been working for Pareja, and it'll be good to see Kara coming into as a sub at some point, just like he did against the last game when he scored a back heel flip goal. Right? I think it'd be great. I want to see him with that energy, with that composure, coming in and just being effective. And
Like he deserves a goal, man. Like he
deserves
he's
a
had
goal.
one or two rolled off for offside, and
Yeah.
at least one. So like he deserves a goal. He's been playing really well. He had a great game against Philly, so I think he should start again. But do you want to get into Nashville?
I wanted to first and foremost say thank you to U.S. Communications for definitely allowing us to cover the game. It was always an honor to cover the national team, and I said it publicly and on a tweet. You can see our editorials on our website. www.loudandproudorlando.com, and if you click on it, I will go ahead and share this now. If you click on it right there, you will see the pictures. You'll see also the inside. What I saw in the game. My thoughts, and then obviously we have the post game presser, in which we talk to Roldan, Daryl DK, and Ricardo Pepi. So you guys can definitely check it out. It's right here on the website, or it's on our channel as well, Loud and Proud Orlando on YouTube. So thank you so much to U.S. Communications, and we look forward to definitely cover more of the national team in the future. So going to Nashville, it's going to be a tough game. Hani Mukhtar, he definitely owns us. Right, John?
Yeah, I mean, Hani Mukhtar. I'm thinking back to the playoffs. I went to Nashville for a very cold.
Oh, you did?
A very cold evening in Titan Stadium just to watch Harry Mukhtar make us look stupid. So please don't do that again.
But did you eat good food?
Yeah, I mean, we did like the whole honky tonks and everything before.
Oh, wow.
Had some barbecue, and that was, I had friends there, so it wasn't a wasted weekend, but I just, every time I hear Nashville, I just have, flashbacks to it was like the 80th minute or something, and then he scored like two, and it was just, he just like ran through our whole team and scored, and I was like, oh God, we're out of the playoffs. Hani Mukhtar is killing us. So hopefully he's not on, I don't think he's been playing as much so far this season. He started injured, so he's only really just come back into the team. So maybe he's not, in full form yet. But if he is, yeah, that's a problem. And they have a lot of other good assets, obviously, not just Hani Mukhtar. But he seems to be like a bogey player for us, kind of like Wayne Rooney was when he played for DC.
Yeah, I mean,
the good news is they just lost the last two games.
Yep.
So the morale is, is flanky there, so we can take advantage of that. So that's we need to hit the foot and the pedal on Saturday and score goals like we did on last Saturday against Philly.
Yeah, there are people asking for the Nashville coach to be out after 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 the games.
Well, I think the problem they have is like his whole deal is that they're defensively solid. So
Gary Smith out.
if you're losing games, then like what are you about, right? It's like kind of,
Right.
like they don't play exciting soccer. So if they aren't defensively solid, then it's really bad.
Yeah, but in a way, I mean,
To be honest, they lost to Revs and Cincy, who are like two of the better teams in the East right now. So you can't really, it's not that bad. And they lost like
definitely,
1-0, 2-1.
definitely, you have
Calm down.
yeah, and then you have Moore and Zimmerman. Thor Zimmerman, right? It looks just like Thor. Definitely one of the best center backs in the league. And then you have Fafa Picault, right? I think I pronounced it correctly. Dax McCarty. He is he's like a Duracell bunny.
They got two old men in that midfield.
Yeah.
Like Dax McCarty is still playing in MLS.
Like still playing in the MLS.
Winter Park legend, by the way. Winter Park native. Dax
I was
McCarty.
Gonna say that the Winter Park legend.
Been in the league forever, still playing. And then Sean Davis, who's like played in England in like a bunch of different teams in like Championship and Premier League, who's also like I think 34. So you got two, aging midfielders who maybe with some fresher, younger legs, we could cause some problems for those guys like Ojeda and Torres and whoever else running it. Those guys could maybe cause some problems. They're not the fastest two, defensive midfielders in the league.
No, you're overlooking the fact of Shaq Moore. He wants to prove himself. He wants to make sure that he wants to be in the national team. He has a tough competition against Serginho Dest, but if you want to play defensively minded, just somebody that's going to not really attack so much, but definitely somebody that's going to hunker you down. Like you play against Mexico or something like that. And he might be called out for the next game too, Shaq Moore, he's solid. And he's right next to Zimmerman, right? So, and then right up front, it's where we suffer the most from both those two men, CJ Sapong and Hani Mukhtar. CJ Sapong, a player that has always been bothersome for us in our back line, and Hani Mukhtar, which is a player that takes advantage of the set piece opportunities. So Orlando needs to be very careful on just completely like fouling Mukhtar right outside the box for him to make a freaking free kick and then ruin the party for 18,000 Orlando Maniacs that are going to be calling for Papi out, or at least maybe like 9,000, saying, oh, we lost another game at home, he has to go. I want to be like FC Barcelona in the next 2 years, right? So I think we need to be careful with Hani Mukhtar and give him the opportunity to take advantage of those deficiencies for Orlando. And fouls have increased every time we played him. We made it too easy for him. I don't know. What are your thoughts regarding that, John?
Yeah, we gotta. I think defensively, this has been our strength so far this season. Really, only that Charlotte game where we just went completely missing defensively for a while. The rest of the time, we've actually been pretty good on defense, like doing a good job of generally trying to, stop teams from building up any sort of momentum and not giving away too many fouls on the edge of the box. So I'm not really worried about that too much. I think obviously he will cause issues, but I'm hoping that we will play like we did against Philly with Felipe in there. So maybe it's just a situation of you just pick one guy out of the midfield like Arujo or Felipe or Dagger Dan, whoever's playing that, or maybe Cartagena, and then say just chase Hani Mukhtar all game and close him down and basically, close him out of the game. I think that's the solution. And we got lots of players who could do that role for us. So that's what I would do to kind of nullify him in that attacking, number 10 role where he's going to run the game. Just stick one of our defensive midfielders on him to stop him from, running the show for them at all.
All right. What about you, Paula? What are your expectations out of this game coming up against Nashville?
3 points. I'm just kidding. No, I got PTSD every time that I play. Well, I don't play. We play against Nashville. I want to see. I don't mind seeing Maguire playing up front on this game because it's gonna be troublesome to Zimmerman because he's so physical. But we just have to play smart on Saturday, shut down Mukhtar, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen any any games from Nashville this year, so I don't know if they're playing well as last year. So I really don't know, but if they lost these two last games, it's our time to take advantage, and we take advantage of our bounce last Saturday.
I mean, we have
Yeah,
the same record as them in the league. We both got 2 wins, a draw, and we both,
a
they've got 2
loss,
losses, and
two
we've got 2
losses.
draws. They're pretty very similar,
Similar,
basically.
yeah, similar.
But they've lost their last 2 on the bounce. To be fair to the Revs and Cincy, like 1 and 2 in the East, so they lost the better teams than them. So whether they're having a bad time or whether they just played better teams for 2 games is hard to say. They're going to be defensively strong. We always know that about Nashville. But away from home, we're going to get a lot of chances. I think what makes a difference for us is, like in the Philly game, actually taking those chances. That's the difference for me between the Charlotte game and the Philly game. Charlotte game, we had just as many chances as the Philly game, but we just didn't take them. We weren't clinical, right? So if we're clinical against Nashville, we'll get the win. If we have, a bunch of shots and don't take those chances, then they'll probably steal a goal or maybe 2 goals from us, and we'll end up losing like 2-1. So that's the difference, and that's what we need to see for this game. And that's why I want to see Ojeda back on that, right wing position like we talked about.
Yeah,
Keep that momentum going if we can
Yeah.
keep it going.
we'll do the lineup in just a moment. There's just some comments. Joshua Tall, do you think there's a chance Antonio Carlos could start against Nashville? Do you think he will come off the bench? I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna start. That's just my opinion. I think that we're ready to see him back with Robin Jansen, hopefully. And if Pareja wants to ease him up into the position again, I mean, he can come off the bench. I think Rodrigo was not doing a bad job. I just think that we need to see Antonio Carlos back. I mean, he definitely in that second half when he came in against Philly, you can truly tell like, oh, okay, here's Antonio Carlos, he's back. Okay, so he made an impact right away. So I would love to definitely see him back in the starting squad. It says, yeah, agreed about Destin Robinson, clicked very well. Also, Felipe Martins did really good. Thank you so much. So let's do our starting 11. I don't know if we'll all agree that. I mean, I guess we didn't touch on the Pedro subject. I was forgetting about that. Now, when it comes to Pedro, everyone saw the footage before we go into doing the squad. Appalling, in my opinion. I think the police, Spaniard police, overreacted. And it was an unjust and a very bad moment for Pedro. He had the worst part of the stick, in my opinion. And the problem here is that after all of this that has occurred, according to Spanish media, and I'm going to say this does not come from me or my sources. This is from Spanish media. You guys can go and Google it out. He's going to have to come back to Spain to be in front of a judge. Now, I don't know when. That's TBD, and I don't know that information. And it's not my place to disclose that either. So, but it is all over Spanish news. He's going to have to come back to Spain. He's going to probably go with his lawyers, probably with the Peruvian Federation lawyers, and handle that. Now, it was an unfortunate situation that occurred. Typically, the Peruvian national team goes to the fans to thank them, just like Orlando does after the games. But in this, there were just Peruvian fans near the hotel. They wanted to say hello to the fans and thank them, sign some autographs, and then bolt back into the hotel. They've been doing that in every single city they've played in, and uh, according to, well, I mean, what you saw in the video was Yoshi Otun was telling the cops, "Hey, stand back, like let us be here, stand back." And then one of the policemen knocked his hand over, smack him smack his hand down, and Yoshi. Then he proceeded to push Yoshi, saying, move back," and then Yoshi pushed him back, and because Yoshi pushed him back, then it snowballed effect into what you saw with Pedro, right? Pedro was trying to defend his friend, then his security, because he has a security person with him. His security person got involved too in there. And then there's what was said in the Peru camp was that the police mistaken players for fans. Yes. Alex Valera, he plays in this team in Peru called Universitario. He's the number 2 striker. He's behind Gianluca Lapadula. He apparently was mistaken for a fan. And because he was trying to pick up a poster that a fan had that a police knocked over. He was trying to pick it up for the fan and sign it. And then the cop also told him, "You got to go," and kind of was aggressive towards him too. So the cops knew where they were going. I mean, when you're a cop, this is the mission that you have, my friend. You're gonna go see and guard the people. The Peru national team is making, it's having people over, it's having the fans. They knew. I mean, Pedro is super tall. There's no way they could have. He doesn't look like your average Peruvian height. He's a goalkeeper, man. Like, these are the players. They have the crest of the national team. I think the abuse of force is unnecessary. And I think Pedro, and I'm going to say this, speaks volumes of the level, the kind of person he is. And in a way, we're really lucky to have him in our club. And because he was told, it was him and 2 other players that were involved, were sent to do his depositions at the police station, and they released them at 4 a.m. according to Peruvian media. 4 a.m. Then he played against Morocco. He slept like good, like the streamer live. Play 5, I'm gonna sleep 5 hours, then wake up and do another stream. Like, literally, he played right after that whole thing that happened. He said to the coach, "Hey, I want to play," because in the beginning, Cáceres, which was Peru's number 2, he was gonna play, but Galese said, "No, I want to play." And then Galese showed his prowess, and he had 2 massive saves that pretty much Peru today tied against Morocco 0-0. Morocco went to the semifinal of the World Cup. I think everyone knows that. And Peru tied 0-0 draw with a lot of subs, playing with a lot of subs, and Galese in 10 out of 10. The level of player that he is, and definitely we stand with him, and we want to support him, and we definitely shocked of what occurred, and we just can't wait to have him back. I don't know. Well, what are your takes on all of this, John? Real quick.
Yeah, man, I have nothing to add on what you said. I think it's crazy. I think looking at the video, you can clearly tell the cop who it started pushing the other player, kind of initiated the whole thing, and obviously it's just, I don't know, maybe he didn't realize he was a player or what, but it just escalates from there. And crazy. So, just it's stuff that you just don't want to have to deal with. Like, you just don't want your soccer players to be worried. Like, I don't want Pedro to be worried about what happens with this thing in Spain. So I think just the club deal with it and the Peruvian national team help him deal with it and just like figure out what needs to be done, or just to make it go away and move on. Because I don't want to, I don't want this to affect his game or anything like that. So the quicker they could just sweep it away under the rug
That's right.
and say this didn't really happen, it was just a stupid mistake, then the better off for Orlando City and for Pedro.
Yeah, according to the Peruvian Federation is going to help him out as much as they can, and so look, he did this save. This was the only chance Morocco had almost the whole game. They had a couple of chances.
He was killing it in the game before when they played Germany. He made 2 or 3 really good saves, but obviously that was before this incident. But he just had a great national team outing.
Yep. So Paola, what are your thoughts, real quick?
It's kind of stupid, not for Pedro and the Peru team. It's just the police, right? It's a country that they see soccer teams all the time.
Yeah.
So right, and you think that they're used to this every single weekend or something, and then you see this type of video, and you're like, are you really seriously doing this? Like, and I'm mad. Like, I cringe every time that I see this video. I'm like, are you freaking seriously doing this? That you confuse fans against a player? No, you're being just stupid. It's just you see the intentions of the police. That's my opinion.
Yeah, definitely appalling, the behavior of the police, the Policía Nacional de España, and well, all our solidarity and our definitely our thoughts are with Pedro. I know he's on his probably way back, hopefully. So and with that being said, and putting an end to it, let's talk about the lineup for Nashville. If Pedro is available, which he should be, Galese will be our keeper, right? So I'm gonna just put him in there, but it could be Mason too, right?
Well, only if Pedro can't play. Like Mason had a great game, but Pedro is still our number 1 keeper.
Right. Yeah. So and then you have your back 4. So guys, I don't know if you want to give me your back 4.
I think it's pretty much set at this point of what our best back 4 is, and I think Paola would probably agree with me. So I'm just gonna let her give her back 4, and I'm just gonna agree. Like,
it's just funny how he says it, but Holiday's gonna be back, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna be back, Holiday?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Holiday's back.
Everything's done internationally last weekend, so they'll be back.
Okay, so Holiday will be there.
And he didn't start, by the way. I was just looking. They played 3 at the back, so he didn't start in the U20s, which is a shame.
Wow.
Because
the only one who started was William.
Yeah, Thomas Williams. Yeah.
Yep. Jensen. And Petrasso.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have. So, yeah. I think that is our best back 4 for this, so far this season. Like, I think Holiday has proven he's that right back. Obviously, having AC back, I'm assuming he'll start this game. Like they brought him on last game, so
I think so.
I'd be very surprised if he doesn't get the start from now on. Jensen obviously next to him, and then I think Petrasso has really nailed down that left back spot for himself and shows like a real like maturity defensively. I think that we are always missing under like Matinho there. It's kind of nice to have a left back who I can be like, oh, he has actually got it. Like we're not just leaking goals down that right side all the time anymore. So definitely Petrasso in that left back spot for me.
Yeah.
Now the real question there, the midfield. To be honest, Luis, I'm gonna ask you this question to you. I don't mind what I saw last Saturday. I don't mind it.
Either.
So what you put there?
I will put Araujo, Martins, and then as a 10 Pereira. Or
That's what I thought too.
if you really want to go like more like how it was the last game, it was more like kind of like this.
Yep. Yep.
I think
Yeah.
it's I think it's designed to be flexible, right? I think what Oscar has said to those guys is not like we're playing because he talks a lot about like I think we get too hung up on formation like as fans, whereas he's
Yeah.
always like
Yeah,
it's really
but
not about the formation. I think that's a perfect example of this, right? Like
Yeah.
Arujo is the more defensive guy, Herrera is the more attacking guy, and then Felipe or whoever else
Is your
that,
8,
is the
right?
one doing a bit of both, right? So that's the way that Oscar looks at it. Whether it's 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3,
and
those are
they
the
were
roles that
switching.
those guys are playing, and they do switch. But Arujo, as a rule, is more defensive, right? We
Oh
know
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Mauricio
He
is
stayed
there
back.
to be the creator, right? We kind of
Mhm.
know
Right.
that. And then the other guy is usually there to do a bit more of the grunt work, and that's sort of the midfield mix that we get. Now it seemed to work really well with that combination of three, and I agree. I would like to see them again in the
Yeah.
starting because
I
I
would
think
like
it
to
made
see
us
him
look
again.
really solid, and Mauricio looked like the Mauricio. Whether he was playing further forward, I don't know. Whether he, whatever it was that made Mauricio
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
like old Mauricio, that
Yeah.
was there against
I
Philly.
I
So
I
maybe
agree.
it's having Felipe next to him. Maybe Felipe is the guy he needs next to him to make him look good. So sure,
Yeah,
let's do it.
and not to say Dagger
Dagger
made
could
a
totally be in there for me. I think
yeah.
that he's had a really good. You know what it was when he got that start? He was playing that 10 role, and I think maybe that didn't suit things. So maybe if Dagger Dan went in this situation and played the Felipe role, maybe that would work.
It
I
will
don't
be a
know.
different situation.
You think
Yeah.
we need Felipe as his skill set is what we need there next to Mauricio?
Yeah,
Is
he
that how
looked
you
very
feel?
poised, Felipe. Like he knew what he was. He's like, hey, this is not my first rodeo type of mentality.
I think there is a world in which Cartagena also could do that role, right? So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah,
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I think I can understand a lot more about what Oscar thinks about the strikers and the attacking midfield than I do about this third midfield position, right? Like we know Mauricio is going to be there. We know Arujo is going to be there. Who that other third person is at the moment is up for debate. Like it's
N-
changing all the time. But I think Felipe looks solid. So
no,
maybe it will keep
Cartagena.
that. Maybe not. We don't know.
I would keep this starting mid right here. I would
I
say
think so.
Cartagena is fit to play. I mean, he didn't have minutes with the national team, only in training. So um, I would say actually he did have minutes with Germany, but
I
then
was gonna say I think he
not with
started, right?
yeah, yeah, not against Morocco though. So I will definitely. I mean, he didn't do. I mean, he did well, but it wasn't. I mean, playing against Germany, you know. So, I mean, it is what it is. He did a very good role trying to defend, and and he did get a yellow card. So, no, I will see. I will like these three for now. Give maybe Wilder coming in as a sub for Philippe at some point, and maybe Dagger Dan coming in for Araujo or even Mauricio. I think that'll be fantastic. Now, your top three. Now, John, what would you say?
I mean, I think Ojeda's got to play that right wing position, like we talked about. Like that's where he's starting to look really good from there. And then I think I agree with you that Torres, is your DP and is a big player in this team and needs to come back in. So he's got to go on that left wing. And then I would go with Enrique again as the striker. I think he's starting to really gel, but Duncan could also like for me, either of those two guys, I would put in that striker position and be very happy. I think Ramiro is starting to win that battle, and even though that he hasn't scored the goals, mainly because I think that Oscar sees what he's doing to enable Ojeda and the other attacking midfielders to get in the game, and he likes that. That's what I think Oscar's thinking, if that makes sense.
I don't mind. And I echo what you just said. Like I don't mind if Ramiro or Maguire, either or. We have a good problem. That's the reality. It's not like last season. Last season we were like we were looking like Philadelphia if everybody was in an international duty we didn't have a good backup plan. Now we have a good problem. People are fighting for position. So I don't mind if Ramiro or Maguire starts. Let's see. Or Kara? Where's Kara? Tan tan tan. So we don't know. I don't think he's gonna start if Kara's back, but let's see. I like Ramiro there. And if we think back of the first goal of last Saturday with Ojeda, Ramiro initiated that goal. Well, Jansen and Mason, then Ramiro, whatever. But yeah, he was involved.
So the last thing I knew about Urgent Carr is that he was questionable for Philadelphia Union and had a right thigh issue. That's the last thing I knew about him. No.
My thing is like if you get a minor injury, like a small knock, right? Yeah, maybe that eliminates you for one game. But then it's a week later and you're still not in the starting lineup and you're not on the injury list. So if that's again, then we got the Nashville game and we still haven't heard from Carr. They aren't saying like it's a more serious injury than they thought, or we're just not hearing anything about him. That's why I'm like giant question mark. Like what? Like like friggin' anime character. Like, huh? Like somebody please explain. So it might just be that he's injured. Fine. It might also be that there's more to this going on behind the scenes with, potential issues with the manager and the player. We don't know. I'm not trying to say that I know anything. I'm not trying to stir the pot. I'm just saying that often,
let me write a tweet.
Often you can read between the lines and, it might not be as simple as Carr's injured. Yeah. Maybe there's more to it than that. We don't know. I think it's suspicious. Let me
send some DMs right now.
We need an inside scoop. Who can we send to training to sit there and scout
right
and figure out what's going on? This is where, guys, we get to the limit of how much we know. Right? We're as confused as to you as to where Carr is. Right. That's right. Don't think you're the only ones who is wondering what's going on there. I am also wondering. And speculating, probably unjustly speculating, but that's what I like to do.
I'm gonna keep it with the right thigh. Let's see. But anyways, who would you say, Paola? Those top three are fine with you?
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, I would hate to have Angulo take a back seat, but then,
we just scored a goal and everything.
Right, so I highly doubt we may see him taking a back seat. That's just my opinion. Now, it will be good to see like John's lineup with Torres on the left and Ojeda on the right. Hopefully, if that's the case and they start working perfectly on Facu in the left wing, and Ojeda on the right wing, I think we'll have a killer attack. Go ahead, Joe.
A lot of people talked about this in the past that, Oscar's teams aren't set up for a striker to score a lot of goals, right? He sets up his teams for his attacking midfielders, his wingers, to score a lot of goals. And I think that's what we're talking about with Ramiro, is a guy who enables Ojeda and Torres and Angulo to get involved in the game like we saw against Philly. Both of those goals come because of Ramiro is coming deep and drawing the center backs with him, playing that false nine role. And so I think that's why he prefers Ramiro. And I also think that he'll do what is needed to be done to get those players to work. And I think moving Torres to the left wing is easier than moving Ojeda. Like Ojeda is playing well in that right wing. We're seeing that. So if I'm Oscar, I'm going to leave him there and get Torres, who I think is a little bit more of a flexible player, to play out of position on that left wing, which he can also do. Like, it's not really a big issue for him out there. He has the skills to be able to influence the game from that position. And it keeps those guys a little bit further apart. Like we talked about before, that they need space. And Paola was talking about that without Torres last week. Ojeda looked like he was able to influence the game more. So it's going to be interesting to see if that dynamic remains against
Yeah.
Nashville.
Yeah, I would love to see this lineup, and if I mean, because Torres didn't have any minutes either with Uruguay, so he's fresher than the lettuce.
No, he
So,
started today.
oh, he started today. Okay, so that's great. So he had some minutes, but no knocks. So
What's
he's.
the score on that? Is he doing well? Give us a live
I did.
update.
I didn't.
Live
I didn't.
update
Even,
from
I didn't. I
Oliver.
didn't see. Hold on.
Uruguay won.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
2-1
two to
against
one
South Korea.
South Korea. Yep.
Have you
There you
seen the
go.
backline of South Korea?
No.
6.8 playing on the right wing. Cutting in on
They're
left
they're
foot.
all their last names are Kim of the backline. So you imagine a narrator,
Oh wow.
when they have they're all Kim.
Korea
Yeah.
had 68% of the ball. I don't think he
Yeah.
did much in that game. That's a
No.
high percentage.
Yeah, I mean I mean Korea had a pretty good. I mean they had a pretty good
They
team.
had all the ball. I'm surprised
Yeah.
Uruguay not influencing the game better than to win 2-1 with only 32% of the ball. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Fast.
I think it was corner kicks.
They had two
goals.
big chances, and they took their two big chances.
right. And Facundo Torres, Facundo Torres started on the right wing. Yeah, so just right at the position for that, like he
Yeah.
plays in Orlando, exactly the same.
Starting right where Ojeda needs to be.
Yeah, so I mean, we may see this, or we may see. I mean, Ojeda's hot, right? I mean, I will probably. I mean, you call me crazy, but it would be really cool to see this. Hold on, where is it? He has played this before.
I was thinking because we have this huge problem now.
Now this is the problem with. You could have Torres as a false nine in a way, too.
Or play Ojeda there and Torres
Or
on that. Because
exactly.
I think actually like Ojeda plays
We have
pretty
seen
well as a
Angulo
striker,
play
yeah.
as a striker here in preseason, right?
Yeah, you can also see Angulo in there. So
There's so many things you could do. I think though
Yeah.
we need consistency, right? We didn't have
Yeah.
that because we were changing the team so much at the beginning of the season. So like if anything, leave Ojeda. Like we were everybody else around, but Ojeda scored from that right wing, so just leave him there. That's what I would do.
Ojeda per John.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
leave
judge
him
him.
where he is. Like it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
Yeah.
just leave that. That's fine. And
Yeah,
then
obviously,
fix the other parts.
yeah, obviously for Oscar having a striker really. I mean, he's a defensive-minded coach. Having a striker might not really be that much of an influence if your playability is going to come from the wing. So he may try Facundo as a striker. I mean, he might.
I would love to see us play two guys up front. I think we see a combination of like a Cara Maguire or a Cara Enrique would be really cool.
Right. Yeah,
I
that'd
just
be
don't know how
fantastic.
you get Ojeda and Torres also on that field, right?
That's right.
It's a lot of big attacking players that leaves you very defensively open.
All right, guys. So we have 2 games coming up. Saturday, we have Orlando City versus Nashville, and we also have Sunday, the home opener of the Orlando Pride, with an amazing and beautiful jersey. Let me see if I can find a picture. It's gorgeous, man. Like I love the Orlando Pride's new jersey. It's beautiful. I wish we could have more kits like that, in my opinion. I mean, the Ad Astra was amazing, but the kit for Orlando Pride, like, look at this, like just the color and the combination, it's just fantastic. So definitely, we're gonna see Marta again. We're gonna see Adriana. We're gonna see, also Emily. She did her debut against the Thorns, so is their home opener against Angel City. So I encourage everyone to go see Orlando City on Saturday, and then swing by on Sunday to see the Orlando Pride and support both teams. And any closing remarks there, John, before we go?
No, just let's go for another 3 points. Back-to-back win against Nashville.
Yeah.
I'm feeling optimistic. So
I'm
we
feeling
didn't
optimistic
we
too.
didn't do predictions, but I'm gonna throw a
Okay,
three
let's do
a 3-0 at you. That's what I'm gonna three
A
zip.
3-0.
3-0
Yeah,
win.
I think Nashville are gonna get bupkis, and we're gonna get 3.
All right. What about you, Paula?
So, Tiro de Esquina podcast, we just uploaded episode 19. Go check it out if you are a Spanish speaker. Orlando City B plays this Friday in
Yep.
Kissimmee against Huntsville. So, go check them out as well. And my prediction for Saturday, and I said it in my Spanish pod, 3-1. 3-1.
Orlando.
Exactly, 3-1. I was like, I was laughing of the prediction of John. So John is being optimistic. I like it. This positivity, man, is getting out there. So I like
We're
it. I like it.
As long as you don't come to the wall, Paula. we'll
No,
be fine.
no, I'm not allowed.
We're the
I'm not
keepers.
allowed.
We're the
I'm
keepers
not
of the
allowed.
faith.
I'm not allowed in the wall. So if you see me near the wall, just stop me and I will do an about face and I will go.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 Orlando City win. And then I'll write my tweets. And I think Orlando's going to win 2-0, hopefully. And, I think we have everything set in place to win this game. Nashville is a tough team, but I think Orlando is having some players coming back from international duty. Also, they're going to be at home. And I think what a cherry on the cake it will be. 2 back-to-back wins. The internet's going to be silenced completely, right? And then it's just going to be great. I think it's a great, and then we can go and go for the next one and just stay hopefully closer to the top of the table, and progress. So 2-0 will be my prediction. So hopefully, I don't know who's going to score. Hopefully Duncan McGuire. So maybe, are you going to be there, John?
Oh yeah, I'll be there for sure. Yeah.
So maybe he does a backflip. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be greedy. All right. I want a Duncan McGuire goal. I want an Enrique goal, and I want a Mikey Holiday goal.
Man,
Extra greedy. I want all my boys
Wow.
to score goals,
Oh,
and also
man.
maybe one for Dagger Dan, just 4-0. Why not?
I said Ojeda and Ramiro. I don't remember the other one. Let's say Dagger. I just want to see a corner kick or a, how you may call it, una falta, Luis, from Dagger.
Foul.
A foul ball from Dagger. Oh man, a goal from him. But
So
let's see.
I say brace from the comeback king, Facundo Torres with a brace.
Facu, he needs one.
Just when you're doubting, he proves everyone wrong. The Uruguayan international Facundo Torres scores a brace. Everyone cheers. He does the selfie thing too. Like, right. There you go. Let me dream, guys. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for your support. And again, I want to go ahead and announce, like I said, there's going to be a new podcast joining very soon. Actually, coming up probably in the next few days, we'll announce it on the social media as well. But I want to kind of show the logo. It's called Heart Full of Pride, and it's going to be an Orlando Pride podcast joining Loud and Proud Orlando. So obviously it's work in progress still, but it is a provisional logo. But we are definitely going for to do our own Pride content and give them the platform to, now since their home opener is coming up, we can definitely have our photographer take some shots and definitely do it properly, and then have an analysis of how the Pride play and the interviews and all of that people are looking for. Definitely going to give them the platform to promote Orlando Pride, because I think it's the right thing to do, and I think the squad deserves it. They have a fantastic group of players. So, and Seb Hines and Giles Barnes and all of them, that definitely Miguel Gallardo was their keeper coach for a while last season. And I mean, it was historic. I mean, three players that made history in Orlando. Being part of having that good stretch of wins for the Pride last season, now translating into this new NWSL season. So, Heart Full of Pride is called the podcast. Is going to join Loud and Proud as well here. So we're excited. If you want to be part of our Pride Pod, reach us out, DM us, and as long as you love the Pride as much as we do, definitely this is for you. Contact me at LPO_podcast on Twitter and also on Instagram. You can contact us, DM us, and then we'll definitely invite you over. So, anything else you guys want to add? Paola, John, anything? We're good? All right. Well, vamos Orlando. Thank you guys. Have a
Vamos,
wonderful night.
Orlando.
Take care.